It's time for Views from the Stands with your hosts, Stevie B, G-Mike, and PC. Let's get it poppin', y'all.
Yo, BC, what up, baby? How you feeling?
Feeling tired, but I'm feeling good, man. We got Oklahoma City Spurs in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals on tap right now. We'll save that spoiler alert for a little bit later on with the score update. But dude, NBA basketball is reaching the home stretch. I am excited. I am here for that. You're gonna probably already set the pace, but dude, we got some NBA and NFL news as well to cover. I'm excited to get into it, man. How about yourself, brother?
Same, man. Good Wednesday night. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals going down right now as we speak. And the San Antonio Spurs are down to the OKC Thunder 66 to 58. A little bit later, we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about game 1 of that matchup. We'll talk about game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll talk about Dallas Mavericks firing Jason Kidd. It's a lot of exciting stuff in NBA basketball, man. It's getting to that time of year where we're having a game every single night into the NBA finals, and then we're gonna have to skip a night, and then it tragically comes to an end, and then we're gonna have to go into off season. But we still got baseball, we still got MLB, we got UFC, you got UFC. We got a bunch of stuff. Man. We got a bunch of stuff. So and we got the World Cup this year, which is very exciting because it's in the crib in the United States, it's in Canada, and it's in down south as well, down in Mexico. So it's going to be very exciting. All those matchups that are coming along. When does it start? What, at the end of June?
End of June or beginning of July, something around that.
Something around that, right?
Yeah. Telling you, we got a few games though too. We're gonna be having down in Miami and South Beach, Florida, baby. We're representing.
And I was actually looking at the ticket prices, bro. Yo, minimum $3,000, doggy.
Oh man.
I'm like,
dude, you're talking putting a down payment on a car with that kind of money, man.
Dude, don't get me wrong. It's probably a once in a lifetime experience. Seeing, especially if your country's team is actually playing there. If you're, like the matchup that I saw was like Colombia against. It could have been Ecuador, it could have been Chile, or another prominent country that a lot of other citizens come over here and live over here down in Miami. So it could be two prominent countries going at it. So which is why it costs so much. But still, like, dude, $3,000. I'll be at the crib, doggy.
Yeah,
be at the crib.
At this point, it's easier working the games than trying to actually get in, dude.
For real,
just
dude.
Insane.
For real. But yeah, man, we got a lot of NBA basketball to talk about. But first, let's start with some NFL news and some serious stuff that have gone on last few days. I think it was a few days ago, or it was yesterday, and it was the breaking news of Rashee Rice on how he basically messed up with his probation. Sorry, you're trying to read at the same time. He's been sentenced to serve 30 days in jail for testing positive for marijuana violation for the terms of his probation for his role in a car crash that left multiple people injured on a Dallas highway 2 years ago, almost killing somebody while he was like hitting 120 miles per hour going down the highway, racing one of his buddies in another vehicle. I think it was a Lamborghini of some sort. The specifics don't really matter, but obviously the crime does. And him violating his probation, and now he's gonna have to serve 30 days in jail, a month in jail. He's gonna have to miss OTAs with the Kansas City Chiefs, so he's gonna miss that mini training camp, if you want to put it into words. But just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and this whole situation, and just ask you, do you think Rice is being too careless with his career and his life?
I mean, at this point in time, like if this were the only issue, I would say, I mean, regardless any actions like that, like yes, it's being careless, but this time last year, we were hearing him kind of in a similar situation. A similar situation last year where, like he said, he was completely changed. He said that after getting a 6-game suspension handed down for personal conduct. He said, you got to learn from these things like that. And I've taken advantage of that and learned from that. Obviously, that's not the case if you're continuing to be a repeat offender in this situation. And so it's like, I hate to be blunt. I hate to come across as a little harsh, but like, dude, you've had multiple chances and you've said multiple times that you changed, but nothing's happening. So at this point, I would agree with you. I would say yes. I think he is throwing away his career. He's throwing away his millions of dollars. I mean, he spent how much of it on his Lamborghini? So like, it's just one of those things where you're gifted multiple chances and he keeps squandering them, and eventually the question is going to be asked: how much longer before you start facing severe consequences for this, and before you start losing things that you hold dear?
Yeah, man. I mean, this whole situation that he put himself in is just very unfortunate for him, his family, his friends, his people around him, his group. Because when you make it at this point of your life in a professional league with all of these millions that you're making and this fat contract that you're getting,
Mhm.
it's the people around you too that get affected. It's not only you, especially if they're working for you. You got them doing some stuff on your payroll and whatnot. It affects everybody around you, right? And even off of the financial stuff, just the livelihood, everybody's livelihood around them, it messes up with their mental, with their physical, and their emotional state. So he needs to be watching what he does from here on out. Like you mentioned, he says that he was trying to be better and he was getting better, and we believed him to a certain point. And then this pops up that he goes and he tests positive for marijuana, which in my eyes is not anything crazy, but if you know that you are being watched 24/7 now because you put yourself on the radar after what you did with this car incident, and you know giving yourself these eyes to be looking over you when it comes to the law, and now you mess up your probation, and now you're gonna have to serve 30 days in jail, miss OTAs, miss all that time to get better out there on the field. You're gonna be locked up in a cell for a month. It's like, dude, you I feel like he is being too careless with his life. You have this opportunity that not even 1% of the world gets on being a professional athlete, and it seems like he's just throwing it away in the trash. Where there's other people that will be super grateful to be in the position that he's in, and to me, it seems like he's very ungrateful. Like, dude, you could just vibe for a bit, stay sober, just chill, maybe drink a little bit of wine, get into some red wine, get into some white wine, dog, get into some cigars, man. I don't know, but you're gonna be tested from, it could be a random test or it could be a scheduled test, and you're putting your career at risk and being careless with your life. Like, dude, like it's very just it's laughable, bro. It's laughable at this point when players and pro athletes are doing this type of stuff, when you can literally just stay out of the way, stay out of trouble, and just try to be on the right path, right? But again, in
Yep.
my eyes, I don't think smoking marijuana is anything big, but you are being tested, like
Mhm.
either randomly or scheduled, and you know that the test is gonna be coming up whenever. Like, dude, just stay off of it, doggy.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too is that people might say, well, it's almost like where athletes seem like they're out of control with their actions, but like, oh, you can't blame him. He's used to this or used to that. And it's like, dude, you're a professional athlete. You have discipline in your life where over the course of many, many years, you've trained, you've eaten the right foods, put in the right water and things like into your body. Like you've disciplined yourself over at least a decade, if not a decade and a half of time. You're telling me that you can't give up certain things for a few, like however long the probation was, like a couple years or like a year and a half or something. You can't give it up for that amount of time. You're that undisciplined, but yet you are disciplined. It's a paradox, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. To your point of being disciplined, like, dude, just train your mind not to smoke weed for a little while, dog. Like, I get it. It's what you indulge in, and what maybe you get some relax, maybe clears his mind. Maybe it does a lot of health benefits towards him for sure. Like, who's to say that it doesn't? But the fact is that you can get in trouble for smoking marijuana, and it could cost you your career or someone else's livelihood in your family, in your friends, in your group because you're messing up the money. It's like, dude, just be off of it for a bit, dog.
Yep.
It's
That's all
wild.
it is.
It's wild to me, bro. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, at the end of the day, I feel like marijuana is kind of an addiction. So who knows? Maybe he's an actor towards it. But
Yeah.
I'm no doctor, so I can't really speak much on that.
No, but it's something to monitor, and it's something to kind of see more, like as we hear more about the story, and as maybe you continue to hear more about his side. Like it might be something where he might need to seek further help or further evaluation from. If it's something where he just keeps repeating these offenses, and he's going to find himself out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not even that crazy. Maybe we're just taking it to another level. But like, at the end of it, at the end of the conversation, we just want to see him out there on the field because he's a great wide receiver. He has a superstar quarterback at the realm, and dude, like, he could go to be one of the greatest receivers right now of this time if he puts his mind towards it. But
Yeah.
obviously, if you're out here testing positive for marijuana while you're on probation, it's going to hinder the fact that you can get better each and every day that you're stuck in a jail cell for a month.
Yeah. It's just one of those things of being mindful of the situation you're in and trying to make sure that you don't do anything to put yourself or your family in jeopardy because of it.
Yeah, facts, facts.
Mhm.
But we'll move on from that, man, and we'll go to the hardwood, baby, because there's a
Yep.
lot of NBA basketball going on, boy, and
Hardwood centric.
it's been looking good. But before we get into the conference finals, let's talk about the firing of head coach Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks. And
Mhm.
just to give everybody the outlook of it, uh, Jason Kidd was coaching after 5 years with the Dallas Mavericks. He took them to the NBA Finals where they lost to the Boston Celtics. I think in what was it, 5 games, 6 games? Correct
I
me if
think
I'm wrong there.
I want to say it was six, if
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think it was
mistaken.
6 games. I think it was 6 games. Then ending up later that their GM traded away their superstar point guard Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. They got Anthony Davis in return. Kyrie Irving has been injured, so he hasn't really been playing. So they didn't really have him out there on the court. Anthony Davis was injured as well. He probably only played like a handful of games for the Dallas Mavericks. Then they ended up getting the number 1 pick, getting Cooper Flag, where he had a sensational rookie season, winning Rookie of the Year. And they were doing decent things. They weren't doing great things with the team that they had out there on the floor, the availability that they had. Um, but it was rumored that it was a mutual decision because Jason Kidd wanted to be president of basketball operations after Nico Harrison was fired and let go. He wanted to move up to that spot and get that spot, but the Dallas Mavericks weren't really feeling that. They were like, nah, we don't really think that you're suited to be in that position. So they went another route and they decided to part ways on both sides. And I wanted to ask you, was this a right move for both sides, for Jason Kidd and the Mavericks front office, or do you think it was not really the right move and they should have stayed with it?
I think it's mostly the right move, but not because necessarily it's an indictment on Jason Kidd as a coach. I think maybe if anything, it's more of an indictment on the front office, just because it just seemed like the relationship between both parties wasn't consistent. Where it again, trading away your franchise player, I'm pretty sure that's something that Jason Kidd wasn't really a big fan of. And I think that just coupled with the fact that Nico Harrison just kind of did whatever he wanted to do at the time. And then also too, just with the history of how this organization was during his tenure, like I'm looking at his record right now. I mean, 205 and 205, it's literally basically average. Um, but I think he's a fine coach, and it would have been, I think, a better idea to just kind of see him get a little bit more time with the team, especially as young as they are. And you're literally going from Luca to Cooper Flag. It's a new era. But I will say, just I think because he wanted more control, they didn't want to give him that. I think it is best for both sides to just kind of part ways. And I think for Jason Kidd, maybe it'll be better for him to go to an organization where he can have a general manager that will hear more of his input, more of his insight on what he wants with roster construction. And the Mavericks can kind of get a coach that will just be happy to be there and just kind of work with whatever they give them.
Yeah, I think it was the right move as well on both sides. I mean, you could tell that Jason Kidd, he didn't want to be a coach anymore. If he's saying that he wants to be a president of basketball operations, that means that he doesn't want to be coaching anymore. Not because he doesn't love it, but maybe because he thought that that front office job kicked back in the sea, even though you have your own different types of stress, it's not the same level of stress as the head coach traveling all the time, preparing for each and every game, having all these game plans, staying up all hours of their night on multiple nights throughout the weeks. Like we hear stories on and on again about coaches, how they give their lives up to be head coaches,
Yeah.
basketball, football, baseball, it doesn't matter what sport. Like they really put their all in the fact of trying to win, trying to be successful for the players, for the organization, and for themselves. You saw Brad Stevens do it with the Boston Celtics. You saw Pat Riley do it with the Miami Heat. You saw Phil Jackson try to do it with the New York Knicks. Didn't work out over there, but it seems like going to the president of the basketball operations is the move what coaches really want to do. And since the Dallas Mavericks didn't want him to go that route, they didn't really think he was the right fit for that. Jason Kidd's like, all right, cool, whatever. If you don't really think so, all right, I'm gonna try and go somewhere else and try to do it somewhere else. Maybe another team will pick me up. But you guys got to do what's best for you, and I got to do what's best for me, and I'm out of here. And you guys figure out what you're gonna do in your head coaching situation.
Yeah, and I mean for the Mavs though too, like them obviously getting Masai Ujiri, like it was something that you get a new GM. I think that it does make sense for him to want to kind of part ways with. He's Kid's still kind of a newer coach in a sense, but the old head coach in the sense of, he wants to. That was part of the old regime. He wants to start fresh, start something new, regardless of the
Yeah,
relationship that was reported between Flag and Kid. They apparently had a great working relationship together, but he wants to start fresh. He wants to put his imprint on it. I mean, the dude's won an NBA championship, so I think that that's just probably his statement on it. And like you said, this gives Kid a chance to kind of pursue that opportunity at that next level, as if he wants to stay in coaching, or like you said, probably more likely he gets a chance to be president of basketball operations. I wouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't be too upset if maybe we looked for that in Orlando, but yeah,
that's what I was gonna ask you next. I was gonna ask you two questions. First one
yeah.
was, how would you like Jason Kidd in Orlando
As a coach, I don't know. I know he had
as
the
a coach?
impressive.
Yeah, I'm sorry, as a coach.
Yeah, as a coach, I'm not too sold on it just because I don't know as much about his system offensively. I know there was a lot of, like, the Mavs were known to having good defense, and then a lot of the offense heavy was pick and roll heavy, and a lot of Luka ball, hero ball with him, even with Kyrie. So I'm not too sure exactly how he works with as far as getting superstars to maybe shoot the ball less. Steve would definitely have a lot more knowledge on his offensive set to lean on. But if he has a system and he has something a little bit more concrete than what we experienced with Jamal Mosley on offense, I'm down. As far as potentially if he wanted to be a GM or a president of basketball ops, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I've not been too impressed with some of the roster construction with Jeff Weltman here. I feel like there's definitely improvements that could be made. But yeah, it would. I would say it's probably more of a second or third option. I think for me, especially doing more research. My first option is still Dusty May from Michigan, as unlikely as it seems, though, that from us being able to pry that away from him. From them.
Yeah, Dustin May would be awesome. I would the only thing that I would say about Jason Kidd, because I kind of do get what you're saying on, like, you don't really know what his scheme is and what he really tries to do with his offenses, since he's such a, I wouldn't say brand new coach, but very new to coaching in the sense. The only thing I would say though, I think he would have a huge impact on trying to get, if he would go to Orlando, a huge impact on trying to get you guys a good playmaking point guard to facilitate and run the team on the floor, which would be awesome for you guys. I
Yeah.
think he would have a good influence on trying to get a good PG there.
If he could get Kyrie here, I wouldn't be too mad with that. That would be exactly what we need.
That would be fire. Not gonna lie, that would be fire.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Let's jump to this game one of the Western Conference Finals, which was the first game of any conference finals this year. And the San Antonio Spurs beat the OKC Thunder. It was 122 to 115 in double overtime. Victor Wembanyama went crazy. 41 points, 24 rebounds while shooting 15 for 25 from the field and scoring 20 of those points in the fourth and both OTs. Also, making a three-pointer to tie the game up to go into second overtime where he was basically shooting from the logo, bro. The logo. Stephon Castle dropped 17 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, almost having a triple-double while having a poor shooting night. Only 5 for 14 and 1 for 6 from 3. And he had 11 turnovers while he was the primary ball handler because De'Aaron Fox didn't play. Dylan Harper was in for De'Aaron Fox, and he actually started. The rookie had 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists while shooting 8 for 20 from the field and 1 for 7 from 3. So he had a poor shooting night as well. Shea had 24 points, 12 assists, 3 rebounds while shooting 7 for 23 from the field and 2 for 7 from 3. So most of his points came from the free throw line. Jalen Williams was his debut on the 2026 NBA playoffs because he's been injured, so he didn't play at all until that game. Dropped 26.7 rebounds, 3 assists while shooting 11 for 25 from the field and 1 from 3 from 3. 1 of 3 from 3, I'm sorry. And then Chet Holmgren, which was probably the most disappointing play out of anybody in this game, had only 8 points, 8 rebounds while shooting 2 for 7 from the field. And then off the bench, the guy that was keeping them in the game because the Spurs would have won by 20 if it wasn't for this man. Alex Caruso dropping 31 points and showing why he's a true vet out there. With all that being said, and we could dissect the whole game, I know there's a lot to talk about in this game, but I wanted to ask you first, how impressive did Wemby look in his Western Conference Finals debut?
He is literally the youngest player in NBA history to drop 40 and 20 in the playoffs, outdoing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar by I think a few months or maybe a year at the most. It's historic, dude. Like, this guy, we were talking about it for so long early in his career. If he just stays healthy, he's gonna be putting on historic performance after historic performance. And that, he had his Michael Jordan, I took it personally game. Like, getting snubbed from the MVP discussions. He wanted to double up on Depoy and MVP. Shea took it from him, and he took game one by force. Like, you can't write a better debut in the Western Conference in the conference finals than that. So that's all I will say about Wemby's performance. Historic, legendary, just lost for words after that. As far as Oklahoma City goes, like, they've got a lot of work to do, and obviously we got game 2 going on right now as we speak.
91-84, Thunder up.
Yep. But before we get into the OKC side, G-Mike, I got to get your thoughts now.
Bro, Wemby showed out, man. And it's insane the type of player that he is. 7'5", moving like a guard, has a 3-point shot, hits a dagger 3 like he's Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors on the OKC Thunder floor in that one game in 2016. It was just phenomenal shot. Wemby had that same attitude. Pulled up, shot it early in the shot clock, and said, "Give me that." From the 3, double overtime, tying it to go to double overtime. And like you said, youngest player, 40 points, 20 rebounds. Boy had 24 rebounds, doggy. 24 rebounds. And he hold his man, to 8 points and 8 rebounds. And Chet Holmgren, where he literally made him disappear. The guy was Houdini out there and just said, "Where you at? You out of here, bro." Not doing anything. Was scared to put up shots. Even he made Shea decide if you wanted to put up a shot or not when going into the rim. Like, Victor Wembanyama was all over the floor. He is a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal NBA basketball player. The guy is out of this world. Literally, look at the
Good, man.
hashtag. The guy is an alien out there playing out, going crazy, man. It's just great to see, man. Honestly, and I love his mindset, dude. He has
Yeah.
that Mamba mentality, and
Yeah.
he wants to win no matter what. He doesn't care if you're not one of his teammates. He doesn't care anything about you. He wants to go at it. He'll literally elbow you in the throat if he has to. He'll
Yep.
go crazy, like, dude. It's just awesome to see, man. And I wish a lot of NBA All Stars were like him and his mentality, because
Yeah.
dude, he just brings it, dog. He just brings it, and he wants to win, and he's gonna do it by force, like how you said.
Yep. I love the analogy. And you even like scared my wife in the other room with the alien sound there a
sorry,
little bit.
sorry, Denise. Sorry, Denise.
See.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're gonna get her on here. She's gonna
Uh,
correct you and
no,
everything.
please, please,
Uh,
no.
but um, but again, great performance by him. But also too, we got to shout out as well his running mates as well. Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle having a night too. Castle having a double double in points and assists. You got Stephon Castle 24 points and 7 steals in a playoff series against like probably one the best perimeter team, offense and defense in the league. Like that, that's so impressive. And that guard duo
Yeah,
really did a good job of containing Oklahoma City's perimeter threat. And again, you lock them down the perimeter, you try to work it inside. Wembanyama's there to just knock everything away. So just excellent strategy so far in that game by San Antonio, played it to a T. Struggling a little bit in this game right now in game two. Obviously, this is gonna be the kind of series where it's just who can make the adjustments the fastest. And this is a masterclass chess match right now, with two titans. The only negative about this series is that this is not the NBA Finals, I think.
yeah. I mean, dude, it's gonna be crazy how these two teams are probably gonna be in this exact same spot for the next 5 years to come. Like,
I'm here
it's
for it, man.
insane.
We
It's
we
insane.
needed some of this stuff, man. Like we needed like the Bulls and the Pistons. We needed the Celtics and the Lakers. Like we need rivalries back in the NBA. Like it seems like since what, the 2010s with the Cavs and Warriors, like we haven't had a legitimate NBA rivalry in a long time, a competitive one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And then right now, game two, I mean, it's the end of the third quarter, 96 88, OKC up, but it looks like Shea came to play today, man. 10 for 16, 24
Mhm.
points, has 9 assists, getting his teammates involved as well. Alex Caruso's doing a little bit of work. Half of the point, basically half of the points of what he had last game. Chet Holmgren has a little bit more points than what he did last game, and Victor Wembanyama only had 17 points, 12 rebounds. So he's still doing work, and he has 4 block shots. So
Yeah.
it could really go either way right now. OKC only up by 8, and it's we saw the next game what we're gonna be talking about. We saw a crazy fourth quarter comeback. So who
Yep.
knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting how the shot selection for this game. I mean, Wemby's got the fourth most shots on the team right now, behind Devin Vassell. That's the crazy part. Like Harper and Stephon Castle are eating up the majority of the shots. Like I'd be feeding him down low to Wemby. So, and he's got 4 blocks on the game so far, so that's good for him. And I mean, Chet for the points hasn't really been doing so well on the glass, and the defense has been just kind of all right there, but. I don't know. I think going into this fourth quarter, they definitely need to lean into a little bit more post work with Wemby, slow it down a little bit. Looks like, you know, Thunder are trying to play a little bit more run and gun, but just feed the ball to Wemby, let him cook. He's 6 for 9 right now. I think he can keep it up.
Yeah, he only has 9 shots. He got to get at least 5 to 6 more shots, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say get closer to 20.
Yeah, yeah, facts. Let's talk about this next game here, man, because what a thriller it was going down to the wire. Even though this game was, excuse me, a thriller as well, but dude, the New York Knicks, man, getting
Dude,
this crazy comeback, dude. Taking game one, they won 115 to 104 in overtime. Knicks came back from a 20-point deficit in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left to go.
yep,
Jalen Brunson, 38 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, while shooting 50 for 29 from the field and cooking James Harden for like 6-7 times in a row on an ISO play in the fourth quarter to get them to get over the hump and go to overtime. And obviously from there on out, they get the win. All starting five for the New York Knicks dropped 13 or more points. Cat was looking a little bit sluggish, a little bit slow in the first half. You know, the Knicks did have a lot of rest, so they were like a little wishy-washy, a little rusty in the first half, but they started to pick it up at the end, obviously. Donovan Mitchell dropped 29 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists while shooting 12 for 23 from the field and 4 from 11 from 3. In the first half, he has 16 points, and he only ended with 29. And the last time I give you before I ask you was good. 1 for 9 for James Harden and Donovan Mitchell in the fourth quarter and overtime. 1 for 9. Only one made shot. What was the most important reason for the Knicks comeback, BC?
A lot of it has to go to one man, and that's Jalen Brunson. The dude is Mr. New York. He is. If they make it to the NBA Finals, they win it all this year. That man's getting keys to the city. Like he's
getting named the street after him.
He's getting a bridge named after him. He's getting a building named after him. He's getting everything. Like the Brunson building. It's no longer Madison Square Garden. It's the Brunson building.
Like call it the Brunson.
Yeah,
the Brunson.
There you go. Like he really exemplifies a lot of that New York basketball mentality. And he just, again, everybody's ready to call it. Cavaliers looking like they're, they don't even need LeBron James to win a championship. And he just flipped the script on him like that in one quarter. And it's just, it's amazing how quickly Jalen Brunson can catch fire as an offensive just hub for this team. And yeah, Cat, a little sluggish in this game, definitely, shooting 43% from the field as a big man. That's not a good look. But dude still had, only 13 points, but he also got 13 rebounds. That's something to be happy with right there. Although again, cut down on the turnovers a little bit and you won't find yourself in that kind of a hole. If the Knicks play a cleaner game 3, or not game 3, if they play a cleaner game 2, I think that this game, they don't even got to worry about being down. They'll dominate it. Because, again, you get Cat taking care of the ball better. You got him playing better defense, a little more active on that end, not trying to be a second option necessarily, let the other guys do it. I think they're going to be just fine. And for Cleveland, it's time to step it up. You've got the Twin Towers duo right there with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. How are you guys not doing more in the post? And Harden and Mitchell, like you said, 1 of 8. This is giving me very much, or 1 of 9. This is giving me very much 2018 Rockets kind of choke job vibes right there, man. It's not looking good. It's only game 1, but every game from this point on is important. So you cannot micromanage this stuff enough.
Yeah, dude. We know what Brunson's gonna do, man. The guy doesn't quit. The guy always wants to win. He is big time in big time moments. Give me the ball, put the ball in my hands, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna show you why you're giving me all this money and why I should be considered one of the best free agent pickups in history, especially for the New York Knicks, for sure. But in NBA history, one of the best free agent pickups. And he does what he does, man. Fourth quarter is his moment, is his quarter. Call it the Brunson quarter. Call it whatever you want to call it. He goes crazy, and he puts the team on his back, man. But I think the most important reason why the Knicks had this comeback was the defensive liability of James Harden, dude. The coaching plan in the fourth quarter was to give the ball to Brunson. Whoever has Harden on them, set the pick and get the switch. Once the switch is there, clear out like Kobe did. Clear out, ISO, get out the way. And that's what he did for 6-7 plays in a row, dude. Cooked them. He had like 12 points just on Harden for like 2-3 minutes, going crazy. And dude, when you see stuff like that happening, right? Yep. We've played sports all our lives, right? But we're not no professional athlete and we're not no professional coach. But dude, the lack of common sense to not call a timeout when one of your players is getting cooked is ridiculous, bro. It's blasphemy. It's like, dude, why would you let this killing keep going on? It's like you're watching one of your boys get jumped and you don't jump in it to help him. You just watch the guy keep punching him and slamming him and hitting his head on the floor. Like he wasn't doing anything for them. He just let James Harden keep getting cooked and keep getting cooked and keep getting cooked. And then that's where you saw that there's no leadership on the Cleveland Cavaliers team. No one stepped up to say, yo, hey, call a timeout. We need to fix something. No. Yep. And then when you look to OT, New York Knicks scored 14 points. You want to guess how many points the Cleveland Cavaliers scored, BC? 3.
I was going to say
3 points.
5, yeah.
3 points, dude. It's insane. It's ridiculous, bro. But the defensive liability of James Harden, to me, is why the New York Knicks had such a great comeback. Because obviously, we know what Brunson's going to give us. We've seen it time and time again. And I know we've seen the defensive liability of James Harden a few times, but dude, in a moment like this where you guys are up 20 points, 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, nah, dog, nah.
And then at that point too, when you notice that Harden's struggling the way he is, your bench depth at guard, you have the only other options that were playing that game were guards. You got Max Strus, Sam Merrill, Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis. None of those guys you didn't think to throw out there. Like, yes, obviously Dennis Schroeder isn't going to give anybody nightmares, but you couldn't throw anybody else out there, anybody else that might maybe catch a little bit of fire. And I think that just speaks also to the depth that Cleveland has. Like, yes, you got a great front court tandem with Mobley and Allen. You've got a great backcourt duo with Harden and Mitchell. But when those guys aren't working, when they're having off nights, who can you actually turn to legitimately on the bench that can be able to fill that void, like you said, on defense? New York, there's dudes that they can run about like 10, 11 deep. They have a much deeper roster and guys that can step in if Brunson just so happens to be having a rough night. You got Anunoby, you got Bridges, you got Hart. All those guys can be a microwave there. Even Cat shooting from downtown. So the Knicks right now are in the driver's seat, and until Cleveland finds a way to maybe shore up some weaknesses with defense, I don't know. It's an uphill battle from here.
Yeah, man. I would have put Max Strus on him. The whole playoffs, he's been playing some really good defense against some really top players in the Eastern Conference. Excuse me. And it's just like, if you see Harden get cooked, not once, not twice, maybe not even 3 times, but dude, after the 3rd time, that's it, bro. Call the timeout, get him out of there, dog. He's not doing anything. He's not making any shots. He's not playing any D. He's an orange cone out there.
Yep.
And I don't even want to give all the crap to James Harden. Donovan Mitchell, man, where you at, dog?
Yep.
Like, you're supposed to be one of the top guards in the league. Like, you talk like you're one of the top guards in the league, and you couldn't even make a few more points in the fourth quarter or in the OT to put the team on your back. Yep. You got another guard across from you showing that he's better than you. He's telling you he's better than you, and now he's showing you that he's better than you. It's like, bro, where is your pride at?
Yep. And I mean, the thing is, like with Mitchell, he's the better defensive guard out of the two. And I mean, people dog him all the time for not being that great of a defender. But I mean, earlier in his career, like, he at least tried. He at least committed to it. But again, because he's having to commit so much on offense, it's just like there's just not as much balance with Cleveland as I think that they need if they want to be able to succeed. Again, they got 3 more opportunities to figure it out. They drop 3 more, they're done. So, at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want to be able to go to an NBA Finals? Do you want to be able to prove all the doubters wrong? James Harden, this is also to you too, because you ain't got much time left in the league. And that's the thing as well. You are relying so much on him or if you're relying on him to play defense, and he's in his mid-30s, like, he was already struggling early in his career on that side of the ball. You really think like he's going to step it up in the postseason? No. D-Mitch, it's your time. This is your team. Step up. Prove it. That's what Brunson did.
Yeah. I think the only positive thing that the Cleveland Cavaliers can really see from this is that LeBron James is watching and he sees that there's no leadership on the team, but there's defense and there's offensive scoring, and he doesn't really need to do much but just plug and play.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign. So
Yeah.
if you guys want to tank for that,
Yeah.
with it. I'm with
Yeah.
it.
Not even necessarily a tank. I mean, it's an opportunity to come back home. Homecoming for him. Come back on the cheap.
Yeah.
But man, all about the Knicks right now, baby. They dominate in the Eastern Conference.
F the Knicks, though. I like Brunson a lot, but F
Yeah.
the Knicks, dude.
I think honestly, like I would rather see Cleveland just because, like I said, I'm the same mentality like with New York,
Yeah.
sports teams in general, but especially like with the Knicks. But I like Brunson though as a player, so it's like I
Yeah.
can't hate on the guy. Like his story and what he's been able to do. Obviously, getting traded from or not getting traded, but like not being able to go back to the Mavs and then signing with the Knicks and being able to just take that team on his back. And this is the farthest it feels like I think they've gone. Even with Melo on the team, since the '90s, I don't think they've made it
Yeah.
this far.
Mm-hmm.
So and if they make it all the way to the NBA Finals and he's able to win a ring, kind of start wondering, like, as far as like the all-time greats in New York basketball history. I mean, is he greater
He's
than
got
Patrick
to be
Ewing?
the greatest. He's
Yeah, I
got
mean,
to.
he got to be greater than Patrick Ewing because he brought
100%.
y'all a chip.
100%.
You start going back to those teams in the '70s, like Walt Frazier. I think Walt Frazier is probably his biggest competition for the greatest Nick of all time. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think even this one ring for what he had to do, I think it wouldn't surprise me. It could put him over the top. A lot of old heads would come for us in the comments, but come for us. Let's go.
Hey, come from us in the comments. Pause. But he goes crazy, man. He goes crazy, and I'm sorry, but back in the days of '70s, y'all were playing against plumbers, dog. I'm sorry. It ain't the same. It ain't the same. But yeah, man, Eastern Conference Finals, baby. Game 1. New York Knicks take it. Game 2 will be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Right now, game 2 of the Western Conference Finals going down. And it looks like the Oklahoma City Thunder are going away with this one, 107-97. 7 minutes left. Still a lot of time left. So don't call it a quits right now. But it looks like they're going away with it. It looks like they're going to tie up the series. But we got a lot of conference finals, then NBA finals to talk about. It's been a good week in sports, and it's going to be a good weekend as well. BC, let them know what you got going on, man, and let them know where they can hear your stuff and find you, dog.
Find me on BC the brand _media. That's where you can keep up with all the broadcasting journey that I've been through, whether it's camera op-in, PA announcing, voiceover work, you name it. I've done it. Every single Central Florida team that there is here in Orlando and Tampa, St. Pete, Lakeland, Flying Tigers, minor league baseball is rocking and rolling. Just got we just won our first 2 home games of this homestand. We'll be back tomorrow night going through until Sunday afternoon. And then USF baseball unfortunately couldn't make or the American Conference playoffs. It's a bummer there, wasting a 30-win season, but they'll be back next year. Some good building pieces, and then Tampa Bay Rays, first place in the AL East. We're going to talk about that on the bullpen whenever we can. Kind of do a little bit more in-depth analysis on that. I was not expecting this at all, but hey, I'm here for it. We're sitting pretty over your Yankees, so it's like all is right with the world for me. So BC the brand _media. You can follow the journey, see what it's like working in sports broadcasting.
Yep. Guys, please do not forget to give us a like, subscribe, share the show with your family, friends, and neighbors, anybody you talk to at a sporting event. Let them know Views from the Stands is the podcast to vibe, talk smack with. You can join up in the chat. You can join up as a guest. We've had several guests on here because of Pod Match. Shout out to Pod Match giving us lots of people to connect with, talk about sports, talk about other things in life as well. We've had scientists come on here. We've had doctors come on here. We've had inspirational people come on here. So shout out to Podmatch for hooking us up there. Shout out to Varsity Sports Nation as well. They put our show on their app, Sports on Demand app, where you can find it on the Roku, you can find it in the App Store, you can find it in the Android store. A lot of different kind of sports shows on there. They have high school sports, collegiate sports going live, having post game conferences about them and all that stuff. A lot of interviews going down with athletes as well. If you like stuff like ESPN, CBS Sports, or Fox Sports, they're kind of like it as well. You can find our show on there. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, IG, TikTok, and now we have Twitter as well at Views Stands. You can find us on Twitter. But yeah, man, it's been great. It's been awesome episode. BC, appreciate you. And you already know, man, we're going to get it down on the next one. And is in the national championship. Not yet, but it looks like they're going that way for college baseball, baby. Men's college baseball.
I was gonna say before we wrap it up though too, I also forgot it would behoove me as well to not give a shout out as well to one of the gigs I had worked over this weekend though too. Florida High School Athletic Association invited me out to do the PA announcing for the girls flag football state championships. At One Buck Place in the indoor practice facility for the Bucks. Got to shout out the state champions. Class 1A, Miami Edison for flag football. Class 2A, Robinson High School. Class 3A, Seminole Ridge. And then Class 4A, Leonard. Shout out to you girls. Y'all killed it. Amazing weekend. Made it, it was a grind getting through the semifinals in one day, 8 games, but we did it. And then Saturday, y'all turned up. Y'all made it a show. Great time, great atmosphere, great energy. So I had to shout that out. Had to show some love for the high school sports out there though too, because hey, varsity covers high school sports though too. Got to show some love. Thankful for the FHSA for the opportunity. Flag football, man, it's a fun sport.
Yes, sir. Guys, we'll see you next week because I don't think we're gonna have an opportunity to record again this week due to other circumstances going on with our lives. But we appreciate y'all. Keep supporting us, keep showing us love, and we'll see you next week, baby.
Sir.